Hello, everybody. We're making progress on park here, and I'm going to do a little bit of commentary on this clip we just put together. The first thing that I like to do is I went into a friend's park. I think this was like one of the first ones he worked on, and I just kind of stopped there and checked it out. It's pretty good. A lot of nice little roller coasters. Once again, he's awesome with the landscaping and blending it in so that your park and your rides kind of blend together, and he does an awesome job. So because if you look around when you first start out, that's all flat. So anything that the scenery, if the land has been raised or lowered, that's all part of the landscaping, and you can do some pretty neat stuff. And like he's got this pool here, he's got the slides coming down into the pool. And like I said, I was just playing around. I had checked out Atlantis. I did a clip on that. And this was like kind of checking out one that he had already put into the workbench, and I had uploaded it, so I was just checking it out. And that's what this part is about. Doing a little bit more work on 9 pools. Oh, I was just playing around here. This is on one of his pools. I'm putting these wave machines in, trying to get the water, and kind of like making a small little wave pool out of a pool that he already had there. And that's kind of what's neat about the game. Now, see, what I'm doing is I'm changing this one. I'm not changing his original one. This is one I downloaded. I saved it under that name, and then I can change it without actually changing his, and just kind of play around with it. But I don't change any of his stuff, like as far as the rides. It's all his, and I just kind of put a few things in there, kind of see what it looked like if I had a bunch of waves going around. Here we are at 5 pools, and okay, I was talking about this earlier in the other clip. I using a few feet down because it kind of goes back to when I was a kid and went to Florida, which was Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World, Florida, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That was there when we were kids. At the time, a movie came out called 200,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think in the last clip I referred to the submarine as Nautilus. It's not. It's the Nautilus, not Neptune. I think I call it something else. But in the movie, Jules Urban, the book that he wrote, it's the Nautilus, and that's the submarine they portray in Disney World, and that's the one us kids went on. Like I said, it's a cool ride, it's neat, but there's the one thing that, like I said, when I looked up, I saw the surface of the water, and we're supposed to be 2,000 leagues under the sea. It's kind of, for a moment takes you out of it, but besides that, the rest of the ride was very immersive. I like the idea that you go down, and you sit, you got a porthole window, and then that whole thing moves on a track, so it makes it look like you're going through the water in a submarine. And that was the whole idea, to immerse it. And they did a pretty good job. And I remember as a kid going on that. Now we fast forward quite a few years. I have my children, my wife and I, when we were stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, there was a package we could get through Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Department, and they offered tickets, or package deals. So we went to Disneyland. So in Disneyland, they had the submarines. Made some notes here. Okay, Disneyland is. This was posted 2 years ago as a video. Disneyland Finding Nemo, California, Nautilus 107. So they use the same name on both types. The one that's in Florida is the Nautilus, but that represents the movie, the Nautilus in the movie, and it was a Disney movie. It had some big names in it. It was kind of, at the time, there wasn't a lot of CGI, so a lot of the special effects was done using green screen and different stuff like that. But they did an awesome job. It's pretty cool. I think it was a big seller at the time, so it was kind of a neat ride to go on. And that's why I kind of building this ride using that kind of in mind. Because both of them, it was like a track ride, so that the vehicle that you're sitting in, you're looking through the porthole, well, that travels on a track. Then on top, they got the submarine look. It looks like floating on the water or in the water. And so you actually get into the submarine, you go down, you got your own little porthole, and then it goes through the whole thing of going out to sea, diving, coming back up, and as long as you don't look up, see the surface of the water, it immerses you in it. It's pretty cool. And well, the one video I was looking on that was, they now have the theme is Finding Nemo. So as you're going through the ride and stuff, there's different things from the movie, and they used I can't remember what it was, that current that they used to go through, and they got that in a ride, and it's kind of neat the way they did it according to the video. But when we were there back, it wasn't Finding Nemo. That movie hadn't come out yet, but it had different things like that where it went down and it talks about different things under the sea, different environments, different animals, different creatures and stuff like that portrayed as you're looking through the porthole. That supposedly goes down real deep, and there's really not a lot of light, and then they show the illuminated fish, the ones that have illumination to them, so that they get, I suppose you kind of use it to see in the dark, I imagine, because there is no light at a certain depth. They're simulating that in the ride, and kind of then it comes back up, and they use a curtain of bubbles to give the simulation that you're going up and down in the water. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was immersed. I got into it. I thought it was pretty cool. Now as an adult, I look and I say, but still, it's even adults get into it. I think, especially now that they've connected it to the movie Finding Nemo. And I think it's kind of ironic that they use the Nautilus in that, and then they're using the Nautilus from the movie itself, and the one that's in Florida. So, and I've been on both. When we went to Disneyland as a family, me and my kid, there was a couple times that, said, let's go, and then we jump on and we take that. And I'd been on it before, so I kind of knew what was coming. And I still enjoyed it. It's kind of like, that's cool. So, did a good job. I did a really good job. And that's kind of that's what I'm kind of using this here, a few feet down, because you were on the sub itself, or what you were on, never actually went down any deeper than about 2 or 3 feet. You're submerged in the water, but it never went down or up. It just stayed on the track. And from the top, if you're standing looking at the lagoon, it looks like the submarines are going around, because it goes on the track. You see the top part of the sub on the water surface. Underneath is a carriage that the people are transported in as they're looking out the little porthole, and then the different effectors while you're looking out the little porthole, like I said, to make it look like they're diving. They send up a curtain of bubbles, there we go. And then the light, they use light to get a little bit darker to make it look like you've gone down a little bit. Then they use scenery and stuff like that. They have animatronics. There's like parts in there where you see divers swimming. whales, fish, different kind of crabs and clams and everything that they can that's got a little bit of movement. They give it some movement. Crabs sitting there fighting each other. Different things, and stuff like that throughout the ride. It's pretty cool. They did a good job. And that's kind of the idea here. It's like that. I was on that ride, and when I looked up, we were only a couple feet down. We never did go real deep. That was the magic, It gives you the impression that you're diving and you're not even going down at all. That's kind of what I'm doing here. It's kind of like I'm building this submarine that's going to be traveling on the surface of the water, and the customers, our guests, can actually get into the boat, which I will have looking like one of the submarines. I'm kind of developing that right now. I got one sub built, but for the most part, I'm just kind of feeling through because I have to build it onto the boat. There it is. That's what I got coming so far. And like I said, it's similar to what the track ride would be if the carriage that the people sit in sat down below the surface of the water and you looked out the window and then you saw the different stuff as you were. You can do something similar to a special effects. I'm going to be working into that to kind of make it look like that. Maybe that what you're seeing from the boat, you might be underwater. I don't know. I'm going to play with that a little bit. But part of the ride, too, is the backdrop to the park. So if you're standing on or swimming in this little pool I have going outside, you got the submarine going by. So it provides a look to the park while at the same time providing a ride for customers and guests to take. Get on this one here. This one will take you around to the other one. You can get off there, or you can get on there, come down around this way. That's kind of, I have to design a couple more of these submarines. Each one of these boats, I'm going to put a sub on. And then that ride will be ready, and then I'm going to start doing the scene. A lot of stuff I can do for like underwater. Give the impression that it's underwater, maybe. We'll see. I'll see what I can do. But I'm liking it. I got a couple more things to do to the submarine here. And then I got to build a couple more. And what I did too is I had to go in and kind of change up the distance so that boats aren't kind of going into one another. But I'll have to get that figured out. But it turned out pretty cool. Like I said, this is based on what I went on as a kid, that the submarine would be on the surface traveling around the track like this while you sat in the passenger compartment looking through the port, and then under the water they'd have the different effects, the different views that you see as you're traveling. And from the top, from sitting on top, you see the submarine going on. So it provides a backdrop as well as that actually being a ride itself. And that's the way they were when I was a kid, and I went on the one in Florida, and then as an adult with my kids I went on the one in California. And it's pretty cool. I mean, if you think about what it took to actually build this ride and get all the little different things working to make it. Oh, gotta do a split cut. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, everybody. Got a little bit more to build. Thank you, everybody. Go ahead, Mr. Voiceover. Take the script clip from ULA Studio in Sunville at OelGrez's, Gwen and Jazz. Thank you for watching and thank you for following. Okay, we'll slide this down to the end.